Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Look here. Shirley's got this boy sitting on this park bench, right? Trying to get him to talk, you know? And she tells him that she's got this money and that Terrence has got all of this money at the house that they can run away with and be together. And she tells him, but see, I need you to tell me why you were willing to set up my stepfather to get me, you know what I'm saying, to do all of this. Why? What was going on? He said, I thought you were going to leave me. She said, you thought I was going to leave you. If I were going to leave you, why would I be with you now? You stopped coming to visit me, all of these things. And she said, I thought we were past that. And he said, no. I need to know that you're with me. By force or by choice, I need you with me. And she said, so you set up my stepfather. You robbed the store. And he said, yeah. My daddy told me to do it. My daddy had the whole plan laid out. We were going to prostitute you and your mama out. And she said, what? You were going to hurt both of us? You thought that was what love is? He said, I didn't want you to leave me. See, let me tell y'all something. See, I know a lot of y'all that might be listening to this, you don't understand how dangerous a person that's insecure can be and to what depths they'll go. And then when you got somebody like his father manipulating and pulling the strings, you have no idea what this person will be willing to accept to achieve whatever it is that they're trying to achieve. He wanted her to be with him, and he was open to listen to what his father was saying to keep her, even if it meant pimping her out. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't care that the relationship will be toxic and bad for one person in it. They just want it. You understand? I'm telling y'all, this street life, this criminal life, is not the life that you want. It's not the life that you want, because your whole moral compass is going to be thrown off. You're not going to understand what's going on with a lot of the stuff. But let me tell you something. You can't understand darkness. No, none of us can. It's not possible. It's not possible. So he continues to tell this story about how his father came up with this idea for him to pay attention and watch to see what Terrence is doing now, right? Now listen to me now. They listen to everything that he's saying. So he got his routines. You understand what I'm saying? He knew where he worked. He got all of these things, right? And it just so happened that they were going out that night. And she said, well, how did you get out of the house? How did you get out of the house and I didn't know about it? We went to bed asleep. And he said, no, you were asleep. He said, I put a little something in your drink to make you relax a little bit. And she said, you did what? He's like, yeah. He said, you didn't notice how relaxed you were when we were making love? Yeah, I put something in your drink. And see, the DA and them, they were listening. Now they had it in their minds, in addition to the armed robbery charge, they were going to hit him with sexual battery. Rape, y'all. You understand? So now he continued to talk and telling her everything, and she's sitting there and she's getting disgusted with him. And she looked at him, she said, you don't love me. You don't love me. And something in her whole demeanor changed. Something in her whole demeanor changed, and she looked at him and she said, but you're going to pay for this. And then he looked at her and he said, what do you mean? We're running off together. You told me we were going to spend the rest of our lives together. And she said, I'm not going anywhere with you. And then she said, apple. And he said, apple? And she said, yes, apple. And he said, what is apple? She said, that's the code word. And he looked at her, the code word, and he's looking around, and before he knew it, 8 or 10 police officers was all on top of him, smothering him. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. They put his hands behind his back. They handcuffed him, threw him in the back of the squad car. He's sitting there looking at her out the window while they take the listening device off of him. She holds it in her hand. Told you were going to pay for this. He put his head down like most people do when they're in the back of the squad car, y'all. Reality starts to set in. Everything was spinning out of control. He knew that he was on his way back to prison. Well, he was in juvenile, but now he's going to prison. He's a grown man, y'all. At least in number. He's older than 18 now. He's through. So they drove him down to the police department, put him in the back. Now he's in that box. They walked in, 2 detectives. They sat down in front of him. They told him, we got everything we need. We just want to get a few things straight, though. Now, you can help yourself or you can keep your mouth shut. Don't make us a bit of difference. But just so you know we're not bluffing, I want you to hear something. So the officer reached down and he hit the button. He let the tape start to play. And he said, wait a minute. I want you to hear this part right here. So he fast forwarded to the part where he said he put something in Cheryl's drink, right? He said, you hear that part right there? Her boyfriend looked at the officers and didn't say a word, right? He said, just check this out. Let me tell you something. That right there got you another charge. And his eyes got wider, right? He didn't say anything, but his eyes got wider. And the officer said to him, like, yeah, that just got you a rape charge. He said, what you mean? We made love. He said, but you put something in her drink. She didn't know. So once she was intoxicated like that under the influence, she couldn't consent. You took advantage of her. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And she's going to testify that she didn't know. It's right here on the tape. Yeah. Yeah, you're done. But you can help yourself. We're going to give you one shot to do it. And one only. And when we walk out of here, see, that's how they get you, y'all. They tell you, say, when we walk out of here, no deal. So he said, what's the deal? He said, we want your pops. We want you to tell us everything that he's been doing. Everything. Because see, we've been trying to get him for years. Smuggling drugs into the prisons and all this and that, and smuggling drugs into the juvenile institution. Yeah, she told us everything. She told us everything. She's cooperating. And the only way you could save yourself, or you going to jail though, but the only way you could save yourself and hope to be able to get out one day is to tell us everything that you know about your pops. And if you don't, you're done. So look here, this is what they did. They both backed away from the table. And see, when they back away from the table, you know, you can hear the chairs screeching across the floor, right? And then they stood up, both of them, you know, hit their tie, you know, like they rehearsed it or something, you know what I'm saying? And the one looked at the other, said, you ready to go? And then the other one said, I'm ready if you are. And then they turned to leave, right? And her boyfriend said, wait a minute, man, wait a minute. What do you want to know? And they said, everything, like we said. Tell us everything. What he's been doing, how he's been doing it. And then we'll see what we can do for you. See, when they got you like that, oh, boy, look here, let me tell you something. They got a whole attitude, man. I'm talking about condescending, looking at you like they know you're through. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, when you got a deer, right? And you got these hyenas or you got this lion that's sitting right on top of him, right? You know, and they got I'm going to say the lion, because, you know, when a lion gets a deer, they bite the mouth, right? Where they breathe at, right, that nose and mouth, they bite down on it with their mouth and hold it together. And that deer is looking at that lion right in his eyes, knowing that if he don't get some air in his lungs, he through. But he can't get no air in his lungs because the lion won't let up on the grip. See, that's how the police are. When they know they got you, they choke you, suffocate you out. And you will do anything for just a little bit of air, a little bit of hope. And that's where her boyfriend was at. He was in a hopeless state, looking for a little hope. And he was willing to say anything. And on top of that, the detective said, oh, and one more thing. We're going to need you to wear a wire. And if you want to know how this played out, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode, right? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.
I'm getting so tired.